Why was George Washington chosen to be Commander-in-Chief? He was chosen because of his experience and his reputation. He also was chosen because many people thought he was a daring leader. On July 3rd, 1775, he took command of his ill-trained troops and entered a war that lasted 8.5 years. Did he receive his pay for his position? Why or why not? Respectively, he had passed no law setting the president's salary. He was okay with not getting a salary. It was his idea. George Washington was selected by the Continental Congress to be Commander-in-Chief as a result of his military experience along the western frontier. A major role was certainly played by Washington's reputation, including tales of military exploits and his firm commitment in patriotic cause. It was he, for instance, who chaired the Virginia Convention that passed the Fairfax Resolves calling for the organization of Continental Congress. What was the goal and purpose of the Declaration of Independence? The Declaration of Independence goal and purpose was a way for the people to state their reasons for revolting against the government. Who was asked to help draft the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson was asked to help draft the Declaration of Independence. He was the only American. How did the Declaration of Independence help other countries? The Declaration of Independence helped to inspire other countries, such as France, to seek independence like they were going to. The most obvious one is France, which underwent a revolution of its own against its own king and queen over a 10-year period, from 1789 to 1799. During that period, France went republic. In 1789, the French National Constituent Assembly used the Declaration of Independence as a guide to drafting its own Declaration of Rights of Man and of the Citizen. Thomas Jefferson even helped write it while he was in France. The Assembly first wanted to make clear the rights that citizens had prior to writing formal constitution. As a sidelight, one of man was a condemnation of the notion of the divine rights of kings. This was a philosophy that Thomas Paine had written about in Common Sense, which greatly influenced French people. Define ratify. Ratify means to sign or give moral consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement. When was the Constitution ratified? The Constitution was ratified on September 28th, 1777. Who had more power and why? The central government had more power because they were the ones that okayed everything that goes out of the country. When were the Articles of Confederation written? The Articles of Confederation were written on March 1st, 1777 through 1781. What was the purpose to allow the Articles? The purpose to allow the articles was to allow people to vote state by state. When and where was the Treaty of Paris signed? The Treaty of Paris was signed on September 3rd, 1782, in Paris, France. Who were the 3 Americans that were involved in the signing of the treaty? The 3 Americans that were involved in signing the treaty were John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and John Jay. Which article of the treaty was most important to the Americans? The article that was most important to the Americans was the one that British recognized the 13 colonies to be free and independent states. What was the primary goal of the treaty? The primary goal of the treaty was to secure both perpetual peace and harmony within the countries. Who represented the signing with the British? David Hartley represented the British at the signing. When did the French form an alliance with the Americans and why? They formed an alliance with the Americans because both wanted to separate themselves from Great Britain's control. Who does Congress send to France and why? Congress sent Benjamin Franklin and Celestine to negotiate with the people of France. When was the treaty signed? The treaty was signed on February 6, 1778. The Federalist Papers were signed in 1787 through 1788. Who were the writers of the papers? The writers of the papers were Jay, Madison, and Hamilton. How many were written, and did the Americans know who the true authors were? There were 85 articles written in the Federalist Papers. No. The Americans really did not know who the true authors were. What does the given name mean, and where did it come from? The given name was Publius, in honor of the great Roman Publius that they all knew and loved. Explain the importance of Federalist number 84. The importance of Federalist number 84 was it had the Bill of Rights in it. Define Federalists. What did they support? Federalists described several political beliefs around the world.